John Locke was an English philosopher born in 1632, and he played a significant role in shaping the ideas that fueled the Glorious Revolution of 1688, a key moment in British history where the country shifted from absolute monarchy to parliamentary democracy. Locke supported this transformation and became known as the father of liberal political theory. His most important works, two treatises of government and letters concerning toleration, laid the intellectual foundation for modern democracy, civil liberty, and the protection of individual rights. At the heart of Locke's philosophy is his concept of the state of nature, a condition where human beings exist before any formal government or political authority. Unlike other political theorists who viewed this state as chaotic or violent, Locke saw it as a state of peace, goodwill, mutual assistance, and self-preservation. In this natural state, all individuals are equal and governed by the law of nature, which teaches that no one ought to harm another in their life, liberty, or possessions. Everyone, he argued, has certain natural rights to life, liberty, and property, which are not granted by any government but are inherent to human nature. One of Locke's most influential ideas was that private property originates from an individual's labor. In the beginning, the earth and its resources were held in common by all. But when a person applies their labor by cultivating land, building shelter, or harvesting food, those resources become their private property. This transformation is justified, Locke argued, as long as there is enough and as good left in common for others. These property rights are not just legal claims but natural rights that exist even before the formation of governments. Once civil society is established, the primary role of government becomes the protection of these rights. Especially property, which Locke defined broadly as encompassing lives, liberties, and estates. Locke's emphasis on labor and property even led many to see him as a proto-capitalist. Central to this idea was his doctrine of workmanship. He believed that human beings are the workmanship of God, and that God gave the world to humanity for its survival and improvement. Labor, in this view, is a divine duty, and when individuals work on nature, they don't just claim property, they fulfill a spiritual and moral responsibility. Through labor, humans become active stewards of the earth, improving it for the benefit of all. So for Locke, private property is more than an economic necessity, it's a reflection of human dignity and purpose. He also believed that humans are naturally inclined to acquire and protect property not because of greed, but out of rational self-preservation and survival. In his second treatise of government, Locke argued that the desire for property is an expression of human industriousness and rationality. When a person mixes their labor with the world by farming, building, or crafting, they transform common resources into personal property. In this way, Locke saw man as a property-acquiring animal by nature. Property, to him, was not just a material good, it was an extension of the self, a product of effort, initiative, and reason. However, despite this optimistic vision of human nature, Locke acknowledged that the state of nature had its challenges. Conflicts could still arise. Why? Because while everyone is bound by natural law, there is no neutral authority to enforce it. Each individual becomes judge, jury, and executioner in their own disputes. This leads to bias, personal vengeance, and increasing conflict, especially over property. Locke identified three main causes of conflict in the state of nature. First, the absence of an impartial judge. Second, the insecurity of property without legal protection. And third, inequality in strength and cunning among individuals, which leads some to violate others' rights. To overcome these dangers, individuals join together to form a political society through a social contract. They agree to establish a government that can protect their natural rights and enforce laws fairly. This contract doesn't mean giving up freedom, it means securing it more effectively through agreed-upon rules and justice. For Locke, the government's primary purpose is to safeguard property in the broad sense, life, liberty, and material possessions. A vital part of Locke's political theory is the doctrine of consent. He insisted that no government is legitimate unless it is based on the voluntary agreement of the people. Everyone is born free and equal, and no one can be subjected to political power without their consent. Locke defined two forms of consent. Express consent, which is clear and direct, like swearing loyalty, and tacit consent, which is indirect, like living in a society and enjoying its protection and services. However, if a government violates its contract and fails to protect natural rights, this consent can be withdrawn. This leads to one of Locke's most radical and powerful ideas, the right to revolt. If rulers become corrupt, tyrannical, or destructive of the rights they were meant to protect, the people have not only the right, but the duty to resist, reform, or even overthrow that government. For Locke, revolution wasn't chaos, it was justice in action. His ideas directly inspired the American Revolution, where the Declaration of Independence echoed Locke's words by declaring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as unalienable rights. In conclusion, John Locke's political philosophy transformed the way we think about government, freedom, and justice. His belief in reason, consent, and individual rights laid the groundwork for constitutional democracy and liberal thought. Even today, his vision continues to shape debates about authority, rights, and the true purpose of government.